Right, lads, we're back again. UFC 109. We're back in the Apex, back in Vegas. Last week's card was okay. We landed the underdogs and we landed Neil Magny, the crafty vet. Definitely lost the first round. Looked slow, looked a bit sluggish, but then got obviously the finish with the knees and the finish on top mount. Perfect stuff. But look, enough of me shy talking. Let's get down to lock of the week.
Andre Touchy-Feely!
So yes, lads, this week's lock of the week is going to be Andre Touchy-Feely. Now, personally to me, I'm picking Andre Feely because if you look at his whole list of his career, he always beats the kind of coming in. He's like a gatekeeper of sorts. Yeah, it's a good example. He's a gatekeeper of sorts outside the top 15, which I don't really understand what I mean by this, but what I mean is he can never break into the top 15, but he always stops people. To me, C-Rod is the perfect man to take out prospects. Now, personally, C-Rod isn't even that old himself, so I get it more to the simple fact that C-Rod is the prospect stopper, but he has also looked pretty poor against people who have actual experience, like, you know, Julian Rosa, who submitted him because he kind of sat into the guillotine. He kind of panic shooted, which I think comes with more experience. He always loses to a more experienced person here. I think Andre Feely, you know, if you stand in front of him, you can get hit with that right straight and he will drop you on your hole. I think this is a possibility of happening inside this fight. To me, I think it's a 29-28 Feely. I think he loses the first round but then comes back into it strong. I think C-Rod starts to make panicked, terrible kind of decisions in his own mind just because he doesn't have the experience yet. He's able to beat the younger guys, but, you know, once he actually meets a vet, it's kind of, you know, all go, no real breaks from too many kind of mistakes. And I think this is what can be the downfall. Give me 29-28 Feely and we'll move ahead into the favourites. Now, just before we move into the favourites, I will just say this card is really, really bad for odds. Like, I don't trust Juice Box. I don't trust Elijah Smith. I don't trust Jocelyn Edwards. I don't trust basically like the first 5 fights for any real favourite. But look, we'll move into the favourites and I'll just explain it. So obviously we're going to start with Usyk Medic. I don't know why I'm struggling with this so much. Usyk Medic. Now look, I'm only going to pick Usyk Medic because I believe that Union Gabriel is absolutely terrible. Like, you get finished by Charles Radke. Not a bad thing in height. Like, beforehand I wouldn't have said it's terrible, but getting finished by someone like that, yeah, I don't know if I really would say I can pick you. I'd say Medic probably finishes this in the first round. I don't think Gilbert Union really has the chin to get out of the first round, and I do think that Medic will probably just catch him something big and finish him. Next, we move into Fluffy. Now, I've debated this main event for quite a bit of time. Every part of my European, bias is screaming at me here to pick Roman Dolidze, but I can't, unfortunately. I believe that Fluffy, they both don't really have much 5-round experience inside the UFC, and even outside, Fluffy has like, I think 3 fights by 5 rounds. I think Roman Dolidze has 2 or 3. It's basically the same for both of them. It's nothing exactly massive. But if we do look at Fluffy in a lot of his fights, like the Michel Pereira fight, he comes strong in championship rounds. His cardio is crazy, and I don't think that's going to change personally. I think that this is going to be another one where he's able to outwork Dolidze. I think Roman is a very, very good fighter, but he just, to me, never seems to get the job done in a 5-round sort of fight for the decision. I'd pick Fluffy any day of the week here. I think he takes the 5-round decision pretty comfortably. I'd say maybe a 49-46 in my opinion. Next, go under 2.5 in a Steve Ercik fight. Look, Odie Osborne is like, he robs a living. Like, I'd honestly say he robs a living at this point. He has lost to so many big contenders, beats someone terrible, and then somehow, like, usually I don't look at too many fighters' topologies. Usually I like to look at topologies, may I say. I obviously like to look at records. But Odie Osborne is 13-8 in his MMA career. He's 33. He is 5-6. He beats Louis Grawl by strikes that me mother could have predicted. I know no one. I had it in my own videos because of course I did. Louis Grawl was terrible. He got extremely lucky to get off the Contender Series. But you have to think that he lost to. Okay, he didn't lose that fight to Lazy Boy in my opinion. If it wasn't a Nacho Lubra, but then he loses to Abus, Filio, Dyson Nam, Cape. He's basically lost to nearly every top sort of contender over the time. Like, he's beaten like CJ Vera, Good win over Charles Johnson on a split. But I personally just think Astro Boy comes in here, clocks him in the chin and finishes him. 13-8. He's getting lucky to get stepped in, and he's also stepping in on short notice. I might as well say, obviously this isn't the original matchup. I think he's stepping in on 4 or 5 days notice. So he's stepping in very, very short notice. Ursek has had to change his camp quite a bit. I don't think this is going to affect him. I think we're going to see the return of Astro Boy. He's been given killers. Kaikar France knocked his block off, but I do believe you give me Steve Ursek in this one. If I am going to pick, I will do a full card breakdown, but I will pick Steve Ursek on it. Under 2.5 at 4-6. Crazy odds. Can't say no. Next we move into Juliana Stankovic. Juliana versus Gabriel Hernandez. We're not going to try that again. I'll leave that in. We're not going to try that again. But look, I did go over 1.5 inside this fight because Julia's basically like the Messi meme of give me armbar or nothing, you know, or like the Arsenal meme of like give me penalty or nothing, give me corner or nothing. You know, she literally has no other game plan. And of course, one of the only people to fall into this trap recently is, Lord and behold, Molly Meatball Molly. She literally, all she has to do is stay out of the armbar, and she went to take her down and get armbarred because, well, of course she fucking did. Of course she did. Of course she did. It's not rocket science. Just stay out with that. I don't think Gabriel Hernandez, for me, really has the tools to get this done in under 1.5. She's usually someone to get it in like the fourth minute of the second round into the third. I do think there's a finish for Hernandez here in probably the second or third round. I think that would be a decent bet, maybe third round decision. If you have that on your app, definitely a very, very good bet. But we will move into the underdogs because this is going to be a very, very short episode. So here we are with the underdogs, and yes, there's only 2. I really don't have a lot from this card. This card for me is a fucking graveyard. You have Julius Walker, Juicebox, 1-6. Elijah Smith's 1-7. They're crazy odds to even touch, because there's no guarantee them two are going to win, and there isn't. I don't care. Dana White's Contender Series alum coming in, they've looked bad, and they will continue to look bad. All you have to do is go get a dirty decision now in the season, and you will get done. With a cheeky plug, I will be doing I will be doing picks for that as well. There's a bit of a cheeky plug, but anyways, enough of my shy talk. Let's get down to the underdogs. So Angela Hill, Overkill. She's fighting as Ismael Lasudo. Look, personally, I think Lasudo has kind of been a bit of a mixed bag. She's only really beaten the lower class of the division and lost to kind of the highers. I think Angela Hill is someone to outwork her. Even at 40, Angela Hill, Overkill is still there. She will still push and really kind of drag out a long 15 minutes that you kind of start to gasp and look at the clock like, oh, fucking this be over. I see a 29-28 to where I see her being able to drag out another performance of 17-10. Angela Hill always has the better grappling. I think she'll have the better grappling here as well. I think it's kind of just, she grinds on you. It's not really skill or anything like that. Technically speaking, obviously she has skill, but I mean she grinds on people. She just grinds like a veteran. She's a crafty vet. That's what I'm going to pick. Next we go into your boy Eric Anders. Now look, I do understand Eric Anders might be a bit of a bold pick here at 4-1, because again, all he's really done is beat Chris Weidman over the last over his last 3 fights. He's only written notable one's Chris Weidman, and that's because the man sat there like a mannequin. But I will also give your boy Eric Anders that he was all over him. Eric Anders I really thought looked well in that fight. And again, a lot of people know my opinion on CDL. I really don't rate Leroy Duncan that highly. I do believe that he has been given some easy fights like Dennis Talul. If we look at Leroy Duncan, he's 11-2, 30. He's 4-2 in the UFC. He's lost to RoboCop, but he's beaten Andrzej Paluski by decision, Claudio Ribeiro, and Dennis Talulin, and lost to Armin Petruzian. Losing to Armin Petruzian, that's really, really poor. It's kind of one of those ones where you're like, Jesus, you know. Fair enough losing to RoboCop, nothing wrong with that, but I mean his wins aren't exactly big, like Dennis Talulin, Claudio Ribeiro, Andre Palumvai, not exactly brilliant. That it's a real kind of level playing field in my honest opinion here. Of course Eric Anders 8 years older than him, he's 9-8 in the UFC. He's lost to the likes of Marco Del Barrio, Johnson Park, Andre Munoz, but these are all people that we need to think are in the top 15 and really making a push. Do you genuinely believe the CDL will be top 15? I don't think so. I think that Eric Anders will actually be able to grind them out here. Definitely it's the better boxing between the two of them in my opinion, Eric Andrews. Definitely a bit slower, but I do think once he sets the feet and gets the power going, I think he can get it done. Another crafty vet is what I'm going to pick here. I'll take another 29-28 at 4-1, and that's the way it's going to be. Okay, that isn't loading. Look, I'll just throw up a screenshot. You've seen it anyway as it clings back, I think 10 or 4-3. I'll throw up a screenshot, but anyways, if you did enjoy the video, please hit the like button or hit the subscribe button. I will obviously keep doing these. I will have a full card breakdown out soon. I will have Dana White's Contender Series predictions made soon enough as well. But anyways, if you did enjoy the video, please hit the like button or hit the subscribe button. I'll see you next one.